All right, well, we're kind of right on time here, so I'll go ahead and introduce you guys, and then I'll let you take it away. All right, so I'm Brandel Unkrich. Welcome, everyone. I am the Director of Salesforce CRM and Data Operations at the University of Iowa Tippie College of Business. I'm also a member of the Higher Education Advisory Council. So now I'm going to introduce Christian and Brandon from Arizona State University. They're going to share their solution, which adds tags to contacts so users can identify any important attributes quickly and easily. So remember to engage in the chat, ask any questions you have in Q&A. All right, so now let's welcome Christian and Brandon. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Brendel. Again, Christian Fuller here at ASU. We are a multi-org institution, if you may not be aware. And Brandon and I are part of this amazing team at EdPlus. I've been in higher education for 17 years and close to 11 years at ASU. Some highlights of our team are just, as you can see right there below. And one call out is that we have about 20, maybe more, between 20 tools and system and our services integrated to our Salesforce org. So we're pretty proud of this. Brandon?
Thank you, Christian. My name is Brandon Tolbert. I'm the lead admin for our EdPlus org used by EdPlus, our Salesforce org used by EdPlus. Happy to be here. Happy to showcase what we've built and what we're trying to implement across the orgs, trying to impact the user experience.
And again, thank you all for joining. So some background story about ourselves and what we're going to cover, right? So we want to walk you through a problem that we had at EdPlus back in 2019, 2020. Our requirement solution and what we were looking for, and the solution basically that we built. And some spoiler alert, we went with custom build over buy, or using an existing free product, basically how we were able to implement the solution back in 2020 and how it works and how we have expanded across the different Salesforce orgs at ASU. If you can go to the next slide, Brandon. So additional background story here, just to go over our problem statements, right? So our Salesforce org, so the EdPlus Salesforce org, our major functional use cases for ASU online student recruitment. This means that all inquiries for online goes through our Salesforce org, and we integrated our org with with our SIS system, our application system, and many others to support this. Now our org functions mainly after the student completes their first course. However, if the student or a prospective student inquires all over again, then we will pick this up in our sales process. We'll start all over again. Now, to some additional background here is our student distribution does not only include what we call core student. We also include what we call corporate partnerships. So a corporate partnership may offer or may extend educational benefits to their employees to come to ASU Online. And some employers may also extend this to their family members or their loved ones. Some of these corporate partnerships include Starbucks, Uber, LabCorp, and many others. Now, with this being said, so as you can kind of see, right, as we continue to grow, we are growing in core population in a diverse population. And one thing that we started noticing as we started expanding is that some of these corporate partnerships, some students could be affiliated to more than one corporate partner. So this is one of the major problems we kind of started noticing, right? This means that basically during the day, they could be working with Starbucks, and at night driving with Uber, or and be eligible for both educational benefits through both corporate partners. Additionally, another problem that we needed to solve and we were facing is that for in higher ed, right, there's many attributes and many information that we need to track and know about a student. Basically, we need to know, are they a corporate partner? We need to know, are they eligible for the benefit? We need to know, are they military affiliated or not, and which branch? We need to know, are there campus changes, first-time freshmen? So basically, this means that we have multiple fields that we need to care that, or our recruiters need to care and look through in order to get a understanding of who they're talking with. And this leads us to our third issue, which is with all these fields, all these attributes, all this information that coaches need to look up and need to know, which, by the way, we call our recruiters enrollment coaches. So you might hear me here say enrollment coach or recruiters. So in order to just get a lay of the land, they get an incoming call. In order to just know who they're speaking with, they have to go through the entire page layout to try to get and look at for these highlights to try to get an idea or understanding of who they're talking with, right? And I love this Giphy, right? Just snaffling through paper, like old school will be papers, right? But basically just trying to navigate through it to get some basic understanding. And if you could go to the next page. So we met with our business and documented what are the requirements to try to solve this and try to simplify their experience, right? And keep in mind, this was, again, in 2020. There was no dynamic forks back then. There was no winter 23 release. So, but even till this day, we think that this solution is very appropriate for this presentation and also is a very valid use case currently and for any other Salesforce orgs. So our first and most important issue we wanted to solve was we wanted to highlight multiple attributes in a single place and reduce the coaches having to navigate through the entire page layout to find those key elements, with the risk of missing one or more key elements that would have changed the conversation. Sometimes coaches, recruiters are only able to connect with learners only once. So we want to make sure that our learners get the most accurate information in a timely manner. The second requirement is we needed to control which attributes can a coach manually be added. We wanted automation for all of this, right, to be control what can be added, but we know that sometimes coaches needed to add certain attributes as they learn during the conversation. They needed to add those manually. So we wanted to control what could be added, what shouldn't be added by a coach. The third requirement kind of goes aligned with the previous one, but opposite. Rather than just not adding, now removing these attributes, right? So be able to control what can be removed, but manually by a coach. And the fourth attribute there, which is equal importance as the other four, is that we need to be able to, again, we most of us read left to right, so we needed to be able to prioritize the order and sort the order to display these attributes. So, for example, if for us a corporate partnership is more important than a military, being able to put those corporate partnership tags or attributes first before military, right? And this also goes through, is a campus change or military more important, to be able to sort them and put in the order in a specific order for us. The next requirement is color categorizing. So why is this important? I'm a big fan of design and colors, and in design, colors is one of the most important and influential tools. And the reason is that these visual cues would make like stand out and be able to easily identify those attributes, right? So we kind of wanted to be able to color code and highlight certain values. The next one is that we need to make sure that the attributes that we show and the way that we show them, the amount that we show is also important for us, is that they provide value for coaches. So there's just not an attribute that all the information that we're displaying and the way that we're doing it, that provides value to them. We needed to make sure that this solution that we found out that if we find or build was scalable. And this included automation to add and or remove attributes, simplicity to be able to create a new attribute with rules, with colors, with visual cues, and display it in a nicely and viewable fashion. And also, as we were going through this exercise, we realized that it could be a need across ASU and other institutions. So be able to port the solution across other Salesforce orgs and or objects. And lastly will be that these attributes are reportable within different object reporting. So you can go to the next slide, Brandon. So what we did was, well, let's explore before we start building custom, and we already have all this sort of requirements. Well, let's go in the App Exchange and see what's available. So we went and searched, and we found this solution. It's called Salesforce Lightning Universal Tagging. So we looked at it, we explored, we installed it in a sandbox, and as you can see right there in the top right, it was a simple box where users can search, can add this attribute. It was an easy way to create these attributes or tags, and I think we had something going here, right? So now if we go to the next slide, if we compare to see what this solution, what requirements does it solve? So it solved some, but it didn't solve all of them, right? So yeah, we were able to, it was valuable. Yes, it was scalable, it was reportable, and we could have multiple attributes. But again, it was missing some other components. That do we go and customize this solution, or do we go and build our own, right? So we went with build our own, like I said, like a spoiler I mentioned earlier, right? So we built our own, and now let's just show you how they look. So here, this is our solution. This is right there in the middle. Tags. This is, as you can see, we can use any color we want. We were able to include icons to highlight those attributes as well. And then what we did here is that as we were working this solution, we were working with in this prototype. We started meeting with, we met with our design and UX team to try to fine tune and try to take it to a different level, and just being able to incorporate additional design elements. And now this solution, like I mentioned, it meets all the requirements, but we wanted to take it a little bit further and try to use other components that Brandon will go over. And with this, Brandon, take it away.
All right, thank you, Christian. All right, so let's take a look at kind of what makes Ed Plus tags or our tagging solution kind of valuable, and kind of take a look behind the scenes to see how it is that we were able to deliver the solution for our users. First of all, there was a huge need within our user population to understand if a tag was verified, if it was super legitimate. This comes through our partnerships with our organizations and our corporate partners, where they provide kind of a list of individuals that you know, are kind of vetted, if you will, and we display that on the tag for the user to make sure that they know that this tag is verified by the corporate employer for this individual. We do that by adding a little checkbox on the tag there to make sure that users can be able to see it. We'll go into that here in just a little bit more. Also, we wanted to provide our users with the ability to get additional information about you know, this organization or kind of this partnership here. With each of our partnerships, they tend to have somewhat different but similar nuances on what it is that the scholarship would provide. A deep link into our KB Guru allows for a user to pull up this KB, understand what it is that the student can and cannot take advantage of, and then consult and guide the prospective student on their way. So this is just a URL, a deep link, and that is right on the tag. Let's go into the architecture. For the UI side, it is a Lightning Web Component that we put on the Contact Lightning record page. It displays all the tags. It can grow, it can shrink depending on how many tags it is displayed. So it's very, very dynamic. Also, each one of these tags has a static resource, a little icon that kind of helps the user identify, where the tag is, like like we've got the Uber logo for the Uber driver, the ASU local, the ASU logo for the ASU local. That's hard to say, and so on and so forth, to kind of give an enhanced user experience, something to easily identify. Behind the scenes, really the object architecture is quite simple. It required a tag object which holds all the tags that we want to display in the org, whether it be one or multiple, and then a junction object between the contact and the tag object called the contact tag object, which holds that many-to-many relationship. So that is the mechanism by which we're allowed, or we're able to display multiple affiliation, multiple tags on a single contact record. Continue on the architecture, I just wanted to take a look at the fields that we added to the respective objects. So looking up in the upper right, we've got the tag object. We've got things like searchable. Can a user who is operating on the front end of Salesforce go into that search bar, search for a tag that they're looking for, and add it themselves? That flag, that checkbox there, would allow them to do so. If it's not checked, if it's set to false, a user is not able to select a tag themselves. Additionally, right under that, we've got the removable flag, which allows essentially the same thing. It allows a user to remove a tag, say it's not warranted, or say it's not necessary, and we can take a look at that should we have available time for a demo here. So what that looks like is it's a little X over the tag to allow them to remove it, and we did add a pick list that stores the reason why a user is removing it, because for all intents and purposes, these tags should be accurate according to the contact. Looking at the bottom leftmost screenshot, we're looking at the tag object. The contact tag object, which allows us to show the is verified checkbox to add the little blue check on the tag itself, and also allow us to create those relationships with the other objects. You know about the tag and the contact object, but also we have a relationship to the account object, which allows us to store our corporate partners or our organizations at the account level. So if we had say, for example, an Uber account, we could find out how many tags are related to that Uber account. So going back into the reporting aspect. I feel like I'm just flying through here. As far as scalable, we wanted this to be fairly configurable. So we built kind of the automation by which the tags are added and removed to a contact through flow. And what this architecture is, or what the architecture of the flow is, it's really just a bunch of decision and assignment elements. Think of like a shopping cart. You're going through the grocery store. You want to fill up your shopping cart. You decide that, hey, I want some tomato sauce, so I'm going to go down the tomato sauce aisle. I'm going to put that in my cart. Well, you don't need to check out right away. You just continue shopping, and when you're ready to check out, you'll go into the line, which is our little upsert action down at the very, very bottom. Thank you, unofficial SF, by the way, a little plug there, for getting us an upsert Apex class by which we're able to upsert the entire collection of contact tags in one fell swoop, one DML, to rule them all as best practice would dictate. All right, so other possible use cases for tags. We do look at personal attributes quite a bit. For us, it's important to know if an individual is a potential first-time freshman, they get additional assistance. Transfer students, if they're coming to us from from other institutions. Financial aspects, how are they paying for the education that they're seeking. Is it through scholarships? Is it through FAFSA? I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I always have a hard time with that word. Is it through self-pay? Registration. Are they a full-time or part-time student? We don't track that, but feasibly it could, right? The affiliations or the organizations, we've talked about this one ad nauseum. Are they with an organization that has a special meaning to the institution? One of our largest corporate partners, which is Starbucks, it's one of our most important ones. So we want to be able to track that. Academic standing. Are they an honor student? Are they potentially needing other assistance because they're struggling? That could be another use case. Location. Within our institution, there are more things that need to happen if a student is an international student versus domestic student. Are they local? Are they out of state? Those could be additional use cases for tags. And then finally, our campus. As Christian said, our primary use case within our org is around distance learning. So ASU Online is our flagship product. But if a student if your use case is kind of a mix of both, or what have you, maybe having an on-ground tag might be something that you're interested in. I believe this is the final slide before I potentially get into a quick demo here, just to show you how easy it is to set up a tag and automate that within the org. We've been successful because we're in the Ed Plus org. We kind of pioneered the tags. We were able to garner additional support from some of our other orgs within the institution to also present tags to their users. Right up here, you've got the kind of the Ed Plus tags, the OG tags, if you will. Down below, you've got another special use case for an armed services division, and then the final bottom one is Frank's org, the enterprise org. They're adopting tags for mostly our on-ground students. So just you can just see that there's different styles, different kind of flavors for tags here. All right, so let me go back here. Let's see if we can go back, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I think we have time for a quick little demo. So I am going to.
And we do have a few questions in the chat as well, so maybe you'll answer some of those during your demo. We'll see.
Maybe we will. I hope I do. All right, so I'm going to share this, just a sandbox that we've spun up specifically for HEDreamin. So I want to take you into one of the contacts that we're going to add a tag to. It's going to be Christian Massimo Fuller, and that's not his real name. I don't know what your middle name is, bud, but I thought Massimo was pretty appropriate. So we will actually want to give Christian Fuller a higher ed dreaming tag because he is a participant. He has come to this presentation. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the back end, and I want to add a static resource, that little graphical icon on the tag. I want to add that first because as I build the tag, I want to be able to reference that one fell swoop. So I'm going to create new, and I'm just going to call this HEDreamin. Choose my file. Oh, good. You can't see my files because it's a mess. Select my file here. PNG tends to work a little bit better for us because it scales, the pixels scale. And then we add it to public so it can be readily used. And so that's it for the back end. So let's go back to the front end and let's add our tag records. And again, this is the primary object by which the tag is kind of identified, how it's going to look, how it's going to display. This tag name field right here is what text is going to display for the user. So I'm just going to add higher ed Dreamin. I believe there's a little apostrophe right there. I'm going to select searchable. I'm going to select removable because I want to show you that, because why not? The color of the tag, I believe it worked well with black, or at least I thought it looked well with black. So I'm going to add 6, the black hex code here. And I'm also going to add a white label here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's just because I can remember them. The tag API name. So this is going to mirror what we call the static resource. So HEDreamin. Not going to put a priority because why not? And I'm just going to save it. Really, that's all that's required. So if I go back into Christian's record, I can then search for HEDreamin, and it's added to the record. So there it is. There's your tag. And then if you want to remove it, oops, I want to remove it. I have to select a reason. That's the wrong tag. He decided not to show up. But on the back end side, and I can show you this too, I've also created just a short little flow by which if this checkbox is checked and saved, Christian will also get his flag, his tag here too. So I'm just going to wait for this to save. I'm going to refresh my screen so I can see that tag. This is always the nerve-wracking part of a live demo. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's right there. So great, we have it. So that is essentially as easy as it is to add and scale tags. And that would be the end of my demo. I'm going to stop sharing that screen and go back to the presentation. And we'll say, what questions do you have? I think I kind of breezed right through that. Felt like it was super quick.
No, it was fine. It's pretty. You have built it very, very well, so it's pretty easy. So it's great. All right. So one of the questions. So someone asked how the tags are applied, and I think you showed kind of how that can be done manually and also automated. So there's a couple options. What happens when a status changes? So let's say they're no longer an honor student, or they no longer qualify for that scholarship. How is that maintained?
That's a great question. We do have, for the tags that we want to remove, we have listeners for the change in that data element on the contact record. So say, for example, one of the tags that can be removed or added within automation is our international tag. And so when that checkbox is set to true, we add the tag. But when it's set to false, I'm going to go back to my checkbox here. When it's set to false, we don't actually remove the tag itself. What we do is we actually use the contact tag key. I'm going to go in here. We actually use the contact tag key, and which is a sorry, I think I went into the tag record itself instead of going into. There we go. The contact tag key to identify which tag record that we're going to amend, and all we have to do is check or uncheck this is active box. I believe since we've got 2 records on, I'm just going to delete this one so you can actually see. So this one is showing because it is active. So we've got this tag record right up here. I'm just going to refresh just to make sure I didn't delete the wrong one here. So it is active. And so if I go into his contact tag record for this specific tag and check the is active box from true to false, click save, and then refresh again, the tag does fall off the user interface, the front end. And so yes, please.
History. But you can still see the history, so you can
absolutely
keep that history track.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do have history both natively using the field tracking history within Salesforce, but we also have an extra object that does track every change that we make to tags as well. That's just for a different use case. But yes, we track absolutely everything.
Awesome.
Good question.
So you showed us some of the fields on the contact. One of the other question is this reading other objects? So for example, is it looking at an affiliation or anything else to add tags? And if so, is it automating also like an affiliation end date passes? Are you inactivating that tag?
Yes, we do have use cases that look across other objects, especially affiliation. Where a user is affiliated with some sort of an organization, and then maybe they no longer are affiliated with that organization. Say they were with Starbucks and they no longer work with Starbucks. We do have automation that listens on the affiliation object and then does create a tag for the contact and displays it on the contact. Should they no longer be affiliated with that organization, we do then go and deactivate that tag. The tag is still there. It's just set to false, so it's hidden from the user. But yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So one other thing related to tags, and then we'll go a little bit broader. But someone asked how you added that KD Guru link on the tag.
Oh, I'm gonna defer to Christian on that one.
So it's a rich. So what we did is that we made that that component is what we call a description field, because we wanted to be able to, like, we wanted to make it super easy where if someone brand new just hit the floor today and we need to put a description for a tag or needs a little bit more details, so we wanted to have that description. In that description, we made it a rich text that allow us to make it where it's basically you can put any HTML code there. So we could put an HTML link and open it in a new tab if you click on it. So that's basically what we did, right? And with this, like, if you like want to learn more, want to engage more, feel free to connect with us. Happy to help in any way we can.
Awesome. So I'm just going to repeat a couple questions you answered just for the benefit of anyone that watches this later. But one of the questions is, can users report on these tags? And yes, they can. So they can use that object to do those. And then it is definitely permission based as to who can edit different fields. And like you showed us, the removable and searchable options. So lots of permissioning built in. So one of the other questions that's a little bit broader is, what do you use for your SIS? They're asking because some SISs have this student tag concept, so you can already see that in the SIS. So they're curious, is there overlap, or are these just used in the CRM and not related to that SIS data?
So we use PeopleSoft, and in PeopleSoft, there's this concept of what is called student groups, right? So, but if you look at our use case of student groups, there's one student group for, let's say, FAFSA 2022. There's another, and there's going to be another student group when FAFSA 2023 needs to be created. So it can start growing, and many universities and units may use it. And we could add it to our component. But one thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to keep it would not be useful if we put so many attributes to track. So where it's now not valuable for the coach, because now it has to track 20 different attributes, right? So we wanted to keep it simple. So this is part of why we kind of separated a little bit and pick and choose which one we wanted to show. But it's a great question.
Awesome. We do have a couple questions that came in via the chat, so I'm going to track those down. One is, can you show or explain more how that reporting works? I'm guessing it's that contact tag object that you could use, or how does that reporting work? And then another question is more detail on how you built that Lightning Web component.
Yes. So when you build any object within Salesforce, you can check whether or not you can report on it. So because it has a relationship to the contact, you can pull contacts with contact tags, or contact tags with contacts. You can just look at contact tags itself. I would show you additional reporting that would require that I go into our full sync or live sandboxes, and I don't think that we're gonna track there. This sandbox only really has it has very limited data, so I don't know if showing reporting would actually be very useful. But yes, absolutely, you can report on the name of the tag, when it was created, all kinds of information that we have related on that tag and the related objects. As far as the Lightning Web component and how it was built, I'm going to have to put a pin in that. I am not our wonderful developer. And so anything that I say, I'm sure is not accurate.
And Frank did say that he'd be happy to connect you to the tech team. So if John, if you want to connect with Frank, it sounds like you can get some more information on that. Great. Well, we're done just a few minutes early here. Thank you guys for sharing. That was really interesting. Maybe someday you'll package it and throw it out in the community, and we can all enjoy this awesome thing you built. Unless any other questions come in, I think we just have a few minutes of break now before the next session. So coming up is another one of the 5 and 5s, and then we'll head into roundtables. So go back to the sessions icon to see what you have next on your agenda, and make sure you visit the sponsors in the expo session as well. And we will see you at the next few sessions. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks all for coming.